feel it for the first time. Been thinking about you all night. I've been searching for this.
Okay, I have to take a test, a PADI reactive test. One of these questions says most injuries caused by aquatic creatures result because the animal is A, trying to protect itself, B, is aggressive, C, mistakes a diver for a rival mate, or D, mistakes a diver for food. None of those is true, really. The actual answer is because the animal knows that I'm going to spear it with my spear gun and eat it. I'm going to eat that animal. So it has to protect itself. Actually, the answer is trying to protect itself.
Okay.
Can't help it.
So did he pass? He passed. Okay.
Yep, let's go.
Go down slowly,
Oops, what happened? Can't see.
Part of being a diver is accepting that problems will occur. Training helps you avoid problems, but they're inevitable. So your training also helps you handle them. Training is important because stress reactions can either help or hinder you. Under stress, mental processes tend to slow. This is true whether we respond appropriately or whether we respond inappropriately. So what makes the difference? Under stress, we tend to do what we do by habit. Poor habits contribute to ineffective responses and the situation worsens. Stress rises and thinking declines further. Then, so does our ability to solve the problem. Good habits, such as properly locating your alternate air source, contribute to effective responses. Stress lowers, we think more clearly and solve problems better. So, if you maintain the habits you've learned in training, you tend to follow them in an emergency. If you've developed bad habits, you tend to follow them instead. This often makes a significant difference. For example, you have the habit of turning the dive with ample gas left. One day you get distracted and find you've used more gas than you expected when you check your SPG. But you still have enough to return to your ascent point thanks to your habit. Habits, good or bad, become and remain habits through repetition. Establish and maintain good ones by doing what you were trained to do on every dive. Sometimes divers think they don't need to do what they were taught, like properly securing their gear all the time. This reflects two errors. One is believing, emotionally at least, that they won't make a mistake. The other is thinking they only need the habit when the need arises. The truth is, we all make mistakes. But following your training and having good habits creates a safety net, if you will, that usually keeps small mistakes from becoming big problems. And under stress, we tend to do what we do by habit, whether it's the right thing or not. And it's too late, for example, to keep your mask on so you can see underwater to drop a diver's weights after she's already panicked. Here are 5 habits that help you prevent and manage problems, but they're not the only ones. Some may seem unnecessary at times, but maintaining habits requires constant repetition. Begin every dive with a pre-dive safety check. Many problems start as gear issues, so confirming you have all your gear, that it's set up and working properly, helps head off problems. Pre-dive safety checks also familiarize you with each other's gear, so you're better able to assist each other. Keep your mask on and use your snorkel or regulator whenever you're in water too deep in which to stand. This speeds your ability to respond to problems and prevents getting blinded by splashes or waves. You're less likely to lose your mask, and if you need it off, it comes off far faster than you can put it on. Use your snorkel when you can to conserve your gas, not only for the dive, but for handling problems. Switch to your regulator for exiting with scuba on so you can breathe if you fall back in. Talk if you need to, but put your mouthpiece in when you're not speaking. As you'll learn in the PADI Rescue Diver course, you're also less likely to be overwhelmed by a panicked diver. Turn the dive and head back with ample no-stop time remaining and ample gas supply remaining. Begin your ascent with ample gas supply remaining. Generally, plan the dive so you always have ample reserve and no stop time. Your most important resource with a problem is time. Your gas supply and no stop time remaining give you this time. Plan more for returning than you think you will need, because one day you will use this reserve. But you won't know ahead of time, so always have it. You usually won't need it, but you can use any excess by extending your dive near your ascent point and exit. Dive conservatively and stay within your limits. Do what you were taught and use the gear you were taught to have to the best of your ability. If other divers don't, that's their business, but don't copy them. If other divers, especially local divers, appear to be doing something more conservative than usual, do follow their example, or find out more about the situation and whether it applies to you. Diving conservatively as you were trained helps assure that you maintain the procedural and equipment safety nets that reduce the risk of a serious incident.